Hi, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Betty Young. I am one of the lead public information officers here at the county's Emergency Operations Center. Today is Friday, June 5th, which means we have an amended order in effect, which means a number of things, including that a lot of retail food businesses are allowed to provide outdoor dining services today. So this morning we have Michael Balliet, the Director of the Department of Environmental Health, to talk about the guidelines and protocols and things that we should be looking out for as we do this next phase of opening. Yeah, thank you for being here, Mike.
Great, thanks,
Yes.
Betty. I really appreciate you guys having us here today. I want to take a moment to acknowledge all the great work that the community has done, as well as essential workers such as in the food industry, to continue feeding people in need during this whole shelter in place. I think the important part of the new order is that there are some parameters that we're asking people to follow, and it's really important that the community band together to continue all the great work that we've been doing in order to support the new openings that we're doing today. And in particular today, talking a lot about the outdoor dining and how outdoor dining can work, and those that have existing outdoor dining, as well as those that maybe don't currently have it but are wanting and learning or want to do it.
Thank you, Mike. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. As Michael so aptly reminded us that safety is the big issue, is the main issue here, because the pandemic is not over, but things are getting better. But first, let's bring you up to date on COVID-19 information from our data dashboards. As of yesterday, we have 2,850 confirmed cases in the county. We have 144 deaths, and we have and 0 new deaths. Our thoughts are with the families of those who have lost a loved one. And we continue to be so grateful for all those who are abiding by the shelter-in-place order, doing everything right, practicing social distancing, putting your health and the health of your family first. We also want to let you know, because this is a huge concern in all the comment sections of our Facebook Live briefings, and we're glad we share the same concern, we removed our face coverings prior to the briefing to allow our American Sign Language interpreters the ability to read our lips and do their job and provide the interpretation. So, Mike, the food services industry has been hit hard by this global health crisis, and most have been able to keep their doors open by offering takeout, delivery, and curbside pickup. But let's be clear, a lot of establishments don't have outdoor dining spaces. So let's define what outdoor dining means first. And I know a lot of business owners want to know if they can set up dining outdoors if they haven't had one yet.
You bet. I think the new order has some parameters that we need to follow, and some of those things are consistent with what we've been doing, such as maintaining social distancing, not eating with other members that are not part of your household, and wearing face coverings, at all times that are appropriate. But an outdoor dining space is a little bit unique. Some restaurants currently have them, and a lot don't. But a dining space that we're looking at is essentially something that allows for the free flow of air, right? So it's outside, you're able to actually get that airflow through. Umbrellas, canopies, other types of shade structures are allowed, but we really don't recommend that they have any walls because that can inhibit the airflow. Food trucks.
Yes, is a food truck considered outdoor dining?
Yeah, so food trucks, I think a lot of people know and have experienced food trucks. There's a variety of types out there, but food trucks are able to do outdoor dining if they are following the local city requirements. And so some cities in the county do have specific requirements that they must follow, and as long as they're following those requirements and they're maintaining and they have posted their social distancing protocols, they take responsibility for the outdoor area, and they're following all the social distance requirements, they can do that. So.
Okay, thank you, Michael. So a question that has come through our FAQ channels is that will servers be required to wear face covering and gloves because they'll be handing plates? And there's also been a lot of confusion about whether gloves means cleanliness.
You bet. Yeah, thanks, Betty. The whole issue with face coverings, I know it can be a bit controversial, but it really is important that those that can wear them and are not exempted by the health officer order need to wear their face covering at all times, and that includes all restaurant personnel. So that is a requirement, and but the gloves issue is I think a little more nuanced, and there's a lot of misinformation about glove use. People tend to think that gloves keep them safe. Gloves do have a role, and in the food industry, gloves are usually to prevent cross-contamination of food. And in this particular context, hand washing for 20 seconds continues to be the most effective method for preventing cross-contamination. So, while gloves can be used, if they are used, they need to wash their hands thoroughly before putting them on, and then change them out frequently anytime that your hands are contaminated.
Thank you, Michael. So several businesses do not have outdoor dining spaces, right now, or maybe prior to the shelter-in-place order. With this new order, are they allowed to set up dining spaces outside now where there was none before?
That's a great question, Betty. Right now, those that do not currently have outdoor seating do need to work with their local city jurisdiction and talk with their landlords. Several cities in the county have already taken steps to help make it easier for restaurants to actually have outdoor seating. But there's some really important things that need to be followed. For example, ADA accessibility and making sure that we're not, blocking sidewalks and impeding the flow of traffic, and especially for people that need additional space to move through.
All right, thank you, Mike. Another question from our astute residents here in the county. Will bars with outdoor spaces but don't serve food, that have not served food before, now be allowed to open?
Another great question. And right now, bars that do not currently serve food are not allowed to open. They can continue to serve takeaway as they have been, throughout the order. But right now, we're limiting it to those that have an on-site dining and outdoor dining function.
So I saw some food facilities are now checking temperatures at the door, checking temperatures of employees, and placing hand sanitizing stations at the door. Will this be required in the future?
That's again another perfect question. Restaurants and food facilities in particular have always been required to screen employees prior to arriving at work. That will continue. Temperature screening is certainly one way to do that, but it could also be as simple as educating people on the symptoms and asking questions in advance of them coming to report for their shift.
Another great question here is that, so one of our viewers say that they have noticed that when visiting an establishment for takeout, the restrooms are closed to the public as part of the precautions the restaurant's taking during shelter in place. Are food facilities with outside dining now required to allow access to restrooms?
Yeah, the answer is yes. Whenever there's on-site dining, they do need to make arrangements for people to use the restroom as well as the hand washing stations, and also ensure that people are social distancing, wearing their face coverings during that time.
Thank you. Now, a lot of our community members are seeing these signs in a lot of the windows of a lot of business establishments and dining facilities. So the question now, Mike, is that are restaurants required to have this sign in the window?
Absolutely. All retail businesses, including restaurants, need to have the new social distancing protocol posted. And I don't want to confuse this in the food side with our placarding and scoring program. So we actually ask you to look for both the green placard that says pass, as well as the COVID-19 prepared checkbox that indicates that the business has their social distancing protocols in place.
Thank you. And should businesses that have been successful with curbside pickup, delivery, and take continue to do so?
Absolutely. We are encouraging, in fact requiring, that those that are doing outdoor dining continue to provide takeout and delivery. It's just another way for restaurants to continue to meet the need in the community. And so, yes, we are asking that they continue to do so.
Okay, so takeout and delivery is still available with the expanded option of outside dining where possible. So, the COVID prepared sign in the window means that a business has a social distancing protocol in place to protect the health of workers and the health of their customers. Now, what happens if the restaurant doesn't have a sign in the window? Let's say they may not have heard about this, or they just don't have a social distancing protocol in place. What can we do?
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways that we've been advertising, but primarily the pub health referral email address with the district attorney's office is a way for people to report violations of the order.
All right, and then, when we hear report violations and regulatory agencies like the Department of Environmental Health, the Office of Labor Standards Enforcement, District Attorney's Office, people can be a little nervous, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And can you tell more about the approach that we're taking with enforcement and what that looks like during this COVID time?
You bet. You know, early on in the middle of March, the Department of Environmental Health changed its strategy a little bit to help support and continue to support the shelter-in-place order. So a lot of education, outreach, trying to help restaurant owners and operators understand how to protect themselves as well as to comply with the social distancing requirement of the order. And we're going to continue doing that during our inspections and, you know, doing sort of consultation, if you will, for some of those things. You know, our goal is to help people comply to the extent they can. The other component that we do is, you know, food safety, and food safety continues to be a top priority for us in addition to all of the requirements in the social distancing protocol. The good news is, as I've said before, this is not new for the restaurant industry. You know, hand washing and cleanliness and sanitizing is all something that they know and that they should be doing. They are enhancing and increasing the frequency at which they do some of that by placing additional hand wash stations or hand sanitizer stations for the public near the entrance, that type of thing. But you know, our role continues to focus on the shelter in place as well as what we call the major risk factors that typically cause people to get sick from foodborne illness. You know, the last thing we want to see is folks getting sick from eating out, but we are confident that the community is banded together and that the shelter in place additional sanitation requirements are also helping food safety. And so our inspections are going to be limited to most of those items that I just discussed. So thank you, Betty.
Thank you, Michael. It's a question that has been popping up on our social media feeds, our FAQ lines, our emails, and to the Public Health Call Center is that, you know, what does social distancing look like in the outdoor dining space?
You
exactly?
bet. Yeah, you bet. You know, the way we're looking at it right now is that an outdoor dining space really needs to provide a few things. But number one is keeping the tables at least 6 feet apart, keeping patrons 6 feet apart. We're also asking that people, you know, limit their meals at that table to people that are in their household. I know we've already heard, you know, lots of people say, well, how are we going to police that? What we're asking for is that the restaurant owners inform people of that parameter and then really leave it up to them to figure out how to comply, because we understand that that's not something that is easily determined. And we're asking the community to really honor the restaurant's social distance protocol and the limitations on the shelter in place so that we can continue down the process of being successful and opening more at a later date. So this is a critical time for us, and we're just really asking for people to partner with us and with the community and with the restaurant owners and operators.
And all the details of this new social distancing protocols required in outdoor dining spaces, details about the amended order that went into effect this morning at 12:01 a.m. You could find everything, any information we have, we put it on our on the county's coronavirus website, and that's at www.secgov.org/coronavirus. Once you go to that page, use the navigation, use the search tools, use the navigation highlight bar at the top, search bar at the top. I'm sure I'm using all the wrong terms, but it's a great place to browse around, and the website is completely reconstructed in a total of 5 languages. So there's plenty of information there, and anything that we may not have answered, because we do have very astute residents here in the County of Santa Clara who cares about this order and cares about the health and well-being of our county. There's an FAQ function. There's ask a question, leave a question. Let us know what we're missing, what we can provide responses for. We do abide by a 48-hour response rule. To the best of our abilities, I think we hit it about 99.99% of the time. Right? We have an FAQ team person right here making sure that we do that right. So Michael Balliet, as a Department of Environmental Health, you are at the forefront of regular life, COVID life, and, you know, emergency operations, anything, because food is so critical to just life and sustaining in general. Can you tell us more about the inspection process of a food business? Does this order change anything when it comes to the inspection process that was already in place?
Yeah, again, it doesn't really change a whole lot in terms of what we've been doing consistently, other than we're now focusing a little bit more on site visits. And I think a key point for us is we also want to make sure that our staff are being safe, you know, so they'll be practicing social distance protocols, wearing face coverings, and ensuring that they're limiting their time actually in the facility. We'll deal with things over the phone or via email that we can. But again, I think we want to honor the shelter in place and help businesses be successful and continue to ensure that food safety is a top priority. Because if I didn't mention it earlier, just so happens that this Sunday is the World Health Organization's World Food Safety Day. So again, I think food safety continues to be a top priority.
Thank you, Mike. I'm going to take some questions from our Facebook followers right now. So you're kind of in the hot seat.
Great.
Okay, let's do this. We have a question here. Is how are the needs of differently abled individuals going to be met and protected with more outdoor dining spaces now?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier that businesses need to work with their landlords. They can't just set up outdoor tables without talking with the appropriate agencies, because things like this are really important and we want to make sure that they're done correctly. We don't want to create additional safety hazards by not following the city's guidance or rules, and that includes access for people that may be physically challenged. So.
Thank you. So all those rules still remain in effect, and this expanded outdoor dining provision does not trample that.
That's correct, and those are typically implemented by the local city building and planning departments. I would encourage people to check their website, for updates, because I think a lot of them have some information and have been out looking at this and trying to come up with strategies to make that happen safely.
Thank you, Mike. We have one more question. I would like to know the procedure used to determine how these establishments are going to verify that people sitting together at a table are from the same household?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, again, what we're asking the community to do is honor the request and work with businesses, because it is something that's extremely difficult to determine definitively. And, quite frankly, restaurants don't really know. But what we're asking, again, is that we limit the interaction between different households, because if we don't, we could see additional increases in COVID cases, and that's really what we're trying to prevent.
Yeah, it sounds like our residents here have time and time again shown us that we are in this together, that we all have a shared responsibility for our own health and the health and well-being of our families, our neighbors, our community. So we are really relying on you, members of the public, diners, customers of businesses, to keep an eye out, to help us and help the businesses make sure that they are COVID prepared, and that we're all continuing to maintain the progress that we've made so far.
You bet. And some simple things that people can do is call the facility before you go, understand their social distancing protocols, and visit their website. Hopefully they post those on their website. There's strategies that can be done, and this is the information sheet that you'll see as you walk in. But we really want people to look at that and understand what that restaurant is requesting of its patrons, because again, it helps them accomplish safety for themselves as well as for the public.
Yep. So folks, one more time, you should be seeing a COVID prepared sign in the window of the business that signifies to the customers and to their employees that there is a social distancing protocol in place at that establishment. And right next to it, or underneath it, or on top of it, is a visitor information guide that tells the customers coming into the business or patronizing the business or restaurant that here are the things that we expect you to do to protect your health and the health of our employees. If you don't see this, either one of these signs, they are technically in violation of the order, but we're not here to punish anyone. We're here to make sure that we're all doing the same things to protect each other. So you could either, for workers, you can call the Office of Labor Standards Enforcement. That number is 1-866-870-7725. Once you call that number, OLSE staff will engage and work with the Department of Environmental Health to reach out to the business to make sure they have all the information they need and all their questions answered, so they could have a social distancing protocol in place. For customers and members of the public, if you see a business or a restaurant that you feel that doesn't make you feel safe, or maybe they're not practicing what you would think would be safe measures and safe precautions, you can make a report at pubhealthreferral@dao.sccgov.org. Again, the mission is to educate, provide the information, and have everyone adjust to a new normal, not to punish anyone. Michael, any closing words for us today?
Yeah, I think that we just wanted to also highlight testing. You know, we want to continue to encourage people to go out and get tested. Essential workers, such as those working in restaurants, we are currently recommending a monthly test. We have over 40 locations currently on our website at sccfreetest.org. And so again, we want to continue to encourage the testing, more so at this time because it's an early indicator for us. Thank you.
And but I could tell from the website that it's a free test.
Yes, yes, it's free, safe, and easy.
Yes, freetest.org, 40 locations, immigrant friendly and completely free.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Michael, for being with us. So in closing, I want to thank all of our residents for sheltering in place, doing everything you can. We see you. We know that you're doing everything that you possibly can to make sure that the health of our community is protected as we move through these difficult times. Please continue wearing your face coverings when leaving your home, interacting with others. You never know who's a vulnerable population. You never know what you're going to be walking into. So please wear your face coverings. I'm loving the designs and the fashion. People are really embracing it and really making it really beautiful and creative these days. Please continue practicing social distancing. That's at minimum 6 feet distance between you and another person that's not in your household. And please continue to check our website for updates, resources, and you're so good at communicating to us too what we should be providing for you. So keep it coming. www.sccgov.org/coronavirus. Thank you. Be safe, be well, and please continue to shelter in place.
Thank you.